Next task in our project is transform and store the data. So what we are going to work on is on Databricks and underlying storage, which is Azure Data Lake Storage Generation 2. There are two options. One is we can transform the data using Azure Databricks and store the data inside Azure Databricks. And the other option is you use the Azure Databricks for transformation and store the data on Azure Data Lake Generation 2, which is external storage to Azure Databricks. So this layer is called curated layer. We saw on the raw layer, we brought the data as it is in as it is format. Now we are going to transform, curate the data and store it on the Azure Data Lake Generation 2 using Azure Databricks. So there are certain data transformation requirements given by the client. First one is transform and store only movies data. Since this is a pilot phase, choose only common fields from each source. Create table in Databricks and external location pointing to ADLS Gen 2. So the data should be inserted into the table and data should be retrieved from the table in the Databricks. However, the data should be stored on the ADLS Gen 2. So then any external service, for example, SQL Data Warehouse, can directly read the data from storage as well. Use Databricks to transform the data and use Python as a language for transformation. Before starting on Databricks, let us see where is our data. So inside the raw layer, we have three folders: Big Brother, inside that 2020, March, and 26 and 25. These are the dates. Movies data is available under 25. For the open gate, it is 24. And in West Highway, it is on under 23. Let us rerun our pipeline so that all the data will be brought into the same folder structure. So today is 4th April. Data should be available inside 2020-04-04. Let's try creating new pipeline. And I will execute these three pipelines from a single one. So first one is Big Brother. After that, West Highway, and after that, Open Gate. Debug. Pipeline is now completed. We see the data. Inside Big Brother, new folder 0404 is now got created and JSON file is also got created. A typical schema like movie title, genre, runtime, rating, availability date, all the fields are present. Let us go back. Open Gate 2020-0404 movies.csv. Movie ID, movie title, category, rating, runtime, data got copied. West Highway 2020-0404, then movies.csv, and the similar schema and the data is available. We are also going to read movies underscore 2017 underscore q1.xlsx. Let us go to Databricks now. In Databricks, I have this notebook and pre-populated commands. I'm going to run these commands one by one and I will start explaining those as well. As a first step, we will mount the storage account. So I'm going to run this notebook. In this notebook, our first command is attaching to the ingest layer. That is, here it is called as raw layer. So I'm mounting this path using storage account name and the key. We have alternate way that we can mount the path using storage secured access signature, that is SAS URL as well. Storage is mounted, we will just list the files. So it is has Big Brothers, OpenGate and West Highway, 3 subfolders. I assume you already have knowledge about the Spark, data frames and the basic commands like reading the CSV file, reading JSON files and all. Here in this session, I'm going to cover these topics from Azure Databricks perspective. So as we have mounted path to the blob storage, now it is a straight way to access the data from the storage using /mnt/movie0 and then the underlying folder. So as we have created data today, let me just change the date here. So what I am going to do, in OpenGate, we have file movie.csv and it is in CSV format. So spark.read.option header true.csv. A data frame will get created. Inside the data frame, data will be residing. Display my data frame name. So this is my data frame. There is alternate way to show the data frame in the text format as well. My bad. It is df OpenGate dot show. As you see, the data is now readable from Databricks. So first thing what I did, spark.read.option.csv. We will now read data from West Highway folder 0404. Here there is a slight change in command. What I'm going to do, spark.read.format CSV, then option.load. If you remember, let me clear the results. In OpenGate, I have specified spark.read.option.csv. Here spark.read.format, then option.load. So internally, it creates data frame in the same way. So it is just a syntactical different, or the way how you call it. Underline compute is same. So we are able to read data from West Highway as well. Third thing is we have data in JSON format for Big Brother movies. Spark.read.json, I'm not going to provide any file name here, so I just added path till the folder level. Let me show you that as well. Inside raw, Big Brother, 2020-04-04. Here is our data file. Let us run it. We see data has been loaded into data frame. Here what we see, there is a sub collection of another dataset, that is actors. Internally it is an array and there are 3 elements. So if you want to extract such kind of information from the table, then there are other functions available in the Spark, something like that, explode. Let me run it. What I am doing here, Big Brother is a data frame we just created in previous cell, dot select, then I am exploding the actors column. This is my actors columns. I am naming that as actor to the exploded one, and then also selecting movie title. This is the movie title. So new data frame df underscore actors getting created, and out of that I am selecting 2 columns, actor dot name and title. So Happy Theater is movie. There are 3 actors, as we see here, 1, 2, 3, and this is Happy Theater. If there are more attributes in these actors, then you can specify more column name, like actor dot name, actor dot first name, last name, actor dot age, whatever it is. We are going to club the data from all of these 3 data frames. First, open get dot select. These are the columns I'm selecting: movie ID, movie title, category, and release date. Also, I'm adding new column called as source, and I'm providing name as OpenGate. Next one is West Highway. Again, I'm selecting few of the matching columns and then adding new column. And for the third one, ID, title, genre, availability date, and then adding a new column as a source. DF finally is a new data frame I'm creating where I'm going to club data from all of these 3 data frames. So DF OpenGate dot union West Highway. Data will be inserted into DF underscore final, and also I'm then adding Big Brother data frame data. And at the last, I'm just verifying the count. Or I'm saying we see here DF underscore final data frame got created. If you see the schema, movie ID, movie title, category, release date, and source got created. There are 1000 records from OpenGate, 832 records from West Highway, 697 from Big Brother, and final is 2529. One thing I just want to show you, in the show command, you see data is getting truncated here, as well as only top 20 rows got selected by default. You can modify that using the parameters. Let's say I want to select only 10 records and I do not want to truncate. So this way you are able to see the complete data as well. However, on the other side, display is a more rich UI where the data is seen in the scrollable table format, or whenever you scroll till the end, the new data automatically gets loaded and appended. You can also sort the data using the column header. As we see that data is union, that is merged into DF and the source panel. So we can fire select queries as well on this data frame. So what I'm creating here, create or replace temp view, tbl underscore movies. So this tbl underscore movies table will get created inside the Databricks memory for this particular session. Then spark.sql, I'm just firing query that select source count star from table movies group by source. It will create a new data frame, df underscore result. Then I'm just displaying the records. So again we see these are the 3 records which we just saw some time back. This data frame or this this table, the temporary table is available in this session and can be accessed by other API as well. So this is the Python language I have used in this cell where I'm invoking spark.sql. Here I'm firing direct select query using %SQL. This is a magic command in Databricks. Okay. We are going to read Excel6 file now. So I just provide correct URL. And for that I am using a library. I need to install this library on this cluster. Let us first install the cluster, install the library, install new. I'm going to select this version because I'm familiar with 0.8.3. Install now. Library is installed. Let us go back to our notebook. So here I'm providing format, that is Excel format, and these are the options are required by this library. So I just provided that, and this path I have provided to load the file. Let us run this cell. Yeah. So we have the data in the Excel6 file which belongs to year 2017 first quarter. Here if you see release date, it is in number format. This is nothing but the ordinal saved by Excel in the backend. However, this library was not able to convert that ordinal into date format. So we have to do some extra work. So I have written a UDF, a user defined function, which accepts value. This value is nothing but this ordinal number, and it will convert that ordinal number into date. This is the function convert to date. I have registered it with sf underscore convert to date. DF movies 2017 is the data set we created here in this cell. Dot select dot expression. What I'm going to do here, I'm just removing dot 0 from this number and converting this number into integer, and then adding a new column release date 2, and then passing the value. This value is nothing but the integer number to the sf underscore convert to date function. We see that number is now got converted into date format. Later, you have to join these data frames into one and then merge it. Since we have merged all data into data frame, that is df underscore final, the next step is write the data into the ADLS storage. So what I'm going to do, I'm going to write data into Parquet format here. Mode is overwrite. So if the data is already present, I want to overwrite it into Parquet, and this is the path I'm going to provide. This account is not created. I just put the placeholder here. So let us go ahead and create this account. So select storage account. I will select Udemy as a resource group. Account name. Curated. Let us say movies. Curated to. Next. I will select ADLS Gen 2, that is hierarchical namespace, as enabled, and create it. While it creates the storage account, we will go back to notebook. As I said earlier, it is your choice or your architect's choice where to keep the data. So there are three options. You can create Databricks tables. On DBFS path, the table data gets inserted or stored. Second one is you can create a database pointing to the external location. So whenever you insert the data into table, the data will get created on the external storage and can be browsed through the tables in the Databricks. And third option is you can directly write data to the external storage without creating any tables in the Databricks. As we have created new storage account, we must mount that storage or attach the storage to the Databricks. Make a container, create a container, as we say, it is curated data. Create. We will require access keys. Copy the key and paste it. Let me copy the command which configures the storage. Using account name and the key, I have mounted this path. Let me run the command where it writes the data onto ADLS Gen 2. So data got written. Let us go to storage, curated, movies. If you notice here, curated is container, this is account name, and movies is a folder. ABFSS is a driver to access the Azure Data Lake Gen 2. For blob, we use WASBS. Inside movies, we see there are 3 files got created. There are actually 6 files, but 3 data files. If you see what are those files, those are .parquet files. If you try to open those, the data is not readable by human. It is not a plain text format. So this is the way you can read multiple format files from Azure Databricks. Basic thing is you should be able to mount the storage. You should be able to access the data from the external storage. And if the inbuilt support is not provided by Spark, for example, reading the Excel file, then you have to install the external library as well. The Excel file here I have read using the third-party library, that is Spark Excel. However, there is other option. You can read Excel file using Pandas. Last one, what we are going to see here, that if you notice, I have hard-coded the path everywhere while reading the files, or while reading the data from files. See here, 2020-0404. How I can dynamically pass the path, or how I can dynamically create the path. What I'm going to do, I'm going to construct my date time path dynamically. So this will remain same. The file name will remain same. Only date time I'm going to construct it dynamically. So I have taken a variable date time, and then I'm formatting that date time into YYYMMDD format, and then providing the date path here in this placeholder. Let us try that. So we see MNT Movies Raw West Highway 2020-0404 movies.csv. Let us go on the storage and see why it could not read the data from the storage. We go to movies raw, container, West Highway 004. It has movies.csv. So we have not provided the path. Okay. So in the last session of this course, we are going to pass the date time as an argument to this notebook from Azure Data Factory. But before that, let us go ahead and see how Databricks database and tables are created and managed.